My mom sent me socks that say Lucky. Because that's my dead dog's name. Thanks. Cool, huh? An outside cat now? I'm sitting on my little patio thing. I call it a patio. It's really kind of just a space that you stand on to get to the storage shed. But it's outside, you know. That's outside. And it's a really nice day here in Connecticut. We've had horrible rain and flooding, but it's nice today. Easter weekend. I love Easter. I love the whole egg-laying giant bunny thing. I think it's fantastic. Speaking of furry animals that lay eggs, a lot of people have been asking me what an echidna looks like. So, there's an echidna. That was a good segue, huh? Going from Easter bunny to echidna. I didn't even plan that. That was perfect. But, so I have a story. This story's kind of for David because David just got his driver's permit. I got my driver's permit. I can't remember. I think that I was 15 when I started taking driver's ed, and that seems really super young to me now, which is probably a sign that I'm getting old. I can't imagine a 15-year-old driving, but I think that was the law in Maine at the time. 15, and maybe 16 to get your license. I think that was it. But I took driver's ed, and the driving instructor did not like me and just notorious for denying people their permit, which is just ridiculous because I felt like I paid for your class, just give me my permit. I'm not taking your class again. But he didn't like me because I was, you know, I had pink hair and a leather jacket and I was all punk rocked out, and he just thought that that meant that I must be, I'm gonna drive fast. I'm gonna do drugs and drive fast. But tennis ball. I don't want to play right now. But yeah, so at the end of driver's ed you have to drive with the instructor in the passenger seat and a parent in the back seat. My mom wanted absolutely nothing to do with the learning how to drive part of raising children. So my dad came to this parent-teacher driving thing. It wasn't great. I know that I went over a little sidewalk curb, but I was 15 and I was learning how to drive. It wasn't that bad. Don't jump up there. No. No. Good. But, anyway, it wasn't great, but the driving instructor was just a pussy. I hated it. And my dad is not the most approachable looking fella. You know, he's bearded and he usually has on a hat, and he worked at a cement plant at the time, so he was kind of dirty, and it was during the day, so he was tired because he worked nights. So he didn't I have a tough looking dad, and the driving instructor was a real pussy. So at the end, my dad said, "Well, good job, Rose." And my driving instructor said, "You thought that was good? You think she should get her permit?" And my dad said, "Yeah." And this is what he said, "Yeah, you should see how her sister drives." So I got my permit entirely because the driving instructor was intimidated by my dad. So Gary Webb pulled through for the driving permit. I failed my driver's test 8 times because no one would ever let me drive, which isn't really bad if you consider that all of my driving practice was during my test taking. My mom wouldn't even let me drive to to the Department of Motor Vehicles to take my test. That's how little practice I had. Hey, Max. Piglet. Don't eat that. Don't eat that.